Hi again. So we just read the book How to Build a Guitar. And now we are going to start writing our how-to books that we've been planning. So we're going to write a draft. That's what we're starting to write today. So what is a draft? Your first draft. What does that mean? Right. So a draft is the writing that you do before you go back and fix your writing, before you go back and add things to your writing. So a draft doesn't have to be perfect. A draft is never going to be perfect. A draft, when you're writing a draft, you just want to focus on what you want to say. And then later, we'll have a chance to go back and make changes to our writing. So, when we write a draft, we use our plan to help us figure out the words we want to use and what we want to say in each part of our book. So, I know that the first page of my book now, I have a brand new document here for my book because my old document was for planning. And I want to be able to see my plan at the same time as I can see my draft because I want to be able to use the parts of my plan to write the parts of my draft. So it's good to see both at the same time. You want to use a new piece of paper or a new document on your computer. Now I have the title of my book is How to Make Homemade Pizza. Now my first page, I think, is going to be my table of contents. I'm going to write table of contents. And I know that I'm going to have an introduction. That was part of my plan. My plan also says I'm going to have my ingredients. That's going to be another section on my table of contents. I know I'm going to have my steps. Now, I can't just write steps. I need to show each step as part of my table of contents, right? Just like the book that we read about building a guitar had. It had step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That's what we're going to do with our steps. So let's see how many steps we have. I know we have step 1. I'm going to save a little bit of space on my paper. So we have step 1, we had step 2, we have step 3, we have step 4, and we have step 5. So I'm going to want all of those in my table of contents so that the reader will know where each step is. Now the last part of my how-to book is going to be my conclusion. So now my table of contents has all of the different parts of my book. Usually a table of contents will tell you what page each part is on. But since we didn't write the rest of our book yet, we'll have to add our page numbers later. So for right now, let's go to a new page for the first part of our book, which is going to be our introduction. So I'm going to put my heading Introduction because I remember in the how-to books that we've read, we have a heading and a picture usually, and then we have a description of that part. We would have an introduction, or we would have a description of the step that page is for. We would have our conclusion on that page, but we always have a heading first so that the reader knows what they're going to be reading about on that page. That's what the heading helps us with. So we have introduction. Okay. So I'm not going to add any pictures yet. I want to do my writing first so then I can figure out what picture might go well with my writing. And we're going to have a chance to either find some pictures or draw some pictures for our book later. But right now we're just writing a draft. So we're just going to focus on what we want to say in our writing for that part. So our introduction, we made a plan. So Mrs. Meany planned to say why homemade pizza is yummy. So I'm going to write that in my introduction. I'm going to say homemade pizza is super yummy. It has many different, yummy ingredients. Okay, let's see what else we want to say. For my introduction, for part of my plan, we said we wanted to say how fun and easy it is to make pizza. Okay, so I'm going to reread what I wrote so far to make sure that what I say next makes sense. Homemade pizza is super yummy. It has many different yummy ingredients. Making pizza is actually really fun and easy. We also want to have a picture of pizza we said we would add. But we're not going to add a picture yet. Let me see if there's anything else I can add because we're second graders. We know to use good details in our writing, right? We can use a lot of details to make our reader really want to keep reading our how-to book. Let's see what else I can say to make my reader want to keep reading all the steps to make homemade pizza. Homemade pizza is super yummy. It has many different yummy ingredients. Making pizza is actually really fun and easy. Keep reading to find out all of the steps and make your own homemade pizza. Awesome. So now, hopefully, when my reader reads this, they're going to be excited about making homemade pizza and they're going to keep reading all, well, they're going to want to keep reading all of the steps in my how-to book. Okay. Perfect. So actually today, let's add one more thing because I think this will be pretty easy. We're going to go to our next page. I'm going to look at the next part in my table of contents is my ingredients. So I'm going to make my ingredients on my next page. I need another heading, right? For every page, I'm going to have a heading to help the reader know what the page is going to be about. We need ingredients on this page. And for ingredients, you might just want to make a list of the ingredients or the supplies, right? If you're writing about, I know Addie is writing about how to make slime. So she's going to list all of the different pieces of supplies you need, all the different things you need. I know AJ is writing about soccer. So he's going to list all of the different things that you need to play soccer. I'm going to list all the things you need to make pizza. And Mrs. Meany is already an expert at this, so she listed for us everything that we were going to need. I'm going to when I make a list, sometimes I like to use bullets for my list. I don't know if you ever make lists with bullets, but you might like to try that too. It's just a little dot at the beginning of each line to show me that it's a list and it's not sentences, right? When we make a list. So we need a pizza stone. We need a large spoon. I'm just reading off of my plan over here. We need a pizza cutter. We need dough. We need flour. We need tomato sauce. We need cheese. And we need toppings. So now I listed all of my ingredients or my supplies. So my reader knows what they're going to need to keep going, to keep doing all the steps for this. Okay. So today we started our draft for our how-to book. Make sure that you write your draft for your introduction and that you write all of your ingredients in your how-to book. Doesn't need to be perfect because remember, it's just a draft. And that means that we're going to have time to go back and change some of our writing or add things to our writing later when we edit and when we revise our writing. Okay, so I will see you guys later. Rest of your day.